Hi everyone, today I am painting in Rebelle because I want to answer a question I got on my Instagram from Art by Tati. They say, when you're doing the digital palette, and I think they're referring to this limited palette, the color wheel that I've done here, what percentages do you use for the secondary colors, tertiary, and then follow the same principle for the tones and shades, or do you do it differently? So incredible, I love the way your brain thinks. Well, thank you very much for that. I appreciate the comment. And I think you're asking, how do I create these limited palette color wheels if I'm painting digitally? So these are my primary colors, and traditional paint, it would be easy because you just lay them out and then mix between them. And it's actually pretty easy in digital painting as well if you're using the right program. Today I'm using Rebelle, which is software that mimics traditional painting, and I'm using a Wacom Intuos tablet to paint with. Not that that matters, but I do find it's a nice one. So I'll start with my yellow up here. Whoa, that was way too big. Okay, so I'll start putting a sample of yellow out here, and then I'll hold down X, and I will click on the color that I'm working towards. So in this case, I'm working from yellow to magenta. So if I click on that while holding X, they have some built-in magic in this program that automatically mixes your color, very similar to real life. And you can do little steps towards that second primary and start to build your color wheel. So that's how easy it is. And we might as well go all the way around. Now I'll go from magenta to blue. So this would be the first step. So I'm holding down, right now I'm holding down X. I'll click on the color I want to work towards, and you'll see it shift over here. So watch it shift. Boom. And you can see it's just like you were, just like it would be if you were to be painting traditionally and mixing these colors. Now we've got to that blue. I want to mix up to the yellow, so hold down X, click on the yellow, and I can start working through and seeing these greens. And you get this great traditional looking color wheel with these paint swatches. Try and do it a little quicker here. I don't want this video to go on forever. And we made it all the way back to the beginning with our yellow. So you can see this. You can adjust the settings in this program, and you can adjust the impasto to make it thicker or thinner, and you can play with watercolor and pencil. It's really fun to mess around with. I do have an affiliate link if you'd like to purchase the program. If you go to nigelpaints.com, click on digital painting, you'll see all the information there. But anyway, you wanted to know how to do the tints as well, I believe. So it's the same process. I'll grab my yellow, I'll hold down X, and then do a couple clicks on my white, and I can start tinting those colors, which is how I've made this inner part of the color wheel. Let's grab this one, and we'll tint this. So it really does feel like you're painting traditionally, and you have the added bonus of being able to undo if you make a mistake, which takes a lot of the pressure off. It makes it a lot more fun. Let's try it with the green. Alright, I'm sure you get the idea. This is awesome. It looks cool. If you spend your time on it, you can make a nice clean looking one. To get the template for this, you can sign up for my newsletter at nigelpaints.com, and there'll be a pop-up that says sign up for my newsletter to find out what's happening, what's new, etc. You will get this in your first email, and then you can use the template to make a nice clean looking color wheel. Another way you can mix colors in this program is by using the mixing palette. So here's some that I did before, just testing it. Get rid of this. Now I'll grab the eyedropper. Whoops. I'll put a blob of the yellow in, the magenta, and then the blue. And grab down here, there's a blend option, erase or pick color. I want to blend them. So if I blend them all together, I should get a gray neutral looking color. Here it comes. So I need a little bit more blue. So I end up getting that neutral color, which is what I used for the center of my wheel. So that's how you get darker colors, and you can shift them towards whatever side of the wheel you want by using the X and click. You can also, if you want really darks, like in here I've got some even darker than what I could mix with the 3 primaries, I'll use this value slider. So I wouldn't use this a lot because you can start to get into what I would consider cheating. But if you need to bump it down a little bit darker, I think that's fine, as long as it works over here. I would not touch the saturation and hue because that kind of defeats the purpose of making these limited palettes. Now you're just grabbing any random color off the wheel. So that hopefully gives you a quick explanation to how I'm using these color wheels digitally. And I don't know any other program that can do this. Rebelle is fantastic for mimicking this traditional process. And collapse that down. Up at the top here you can see they've got oils and acrylics, watercolors, ink, pencil, pastel, markers, spray paint. There's so much you can do with this, and I think I've only scratched the surface. But I've tried to replicate my process from traditional painting. I use acrylics. I've tried to replicate that process on the computer, and it really does speed up my workflow. Down here on the right you can see a list of colors you can import, just like you go to the store and buy some red oxide or burnt sienna or cerulean blue. You can select them and paint them directly onto your page. And you can also change the papers. Anyway, I'm getting off the topic. You get the idea. It's really fun. You should try it out and check out my affiliate link at nigelpaints.com. If you'd like to learn my entire process, you can check out my courses. They are also on my website. And if you have any more questions, leave them below this video. I'll try and do some short videos explaining some of my process and explaining or answering your questions. And you can also comment on my work on Instagram, just like this, Art by Tati, and I can answer those questions as well. So before I ramble on too long, I will say good luck with your painting, and I'll talk to you on the next one.